I'm keeping them in this in the house because I enjoy their activity levels, and they're some of my prettier koi. Some of them are butterfly koi. In fact, most of them are. This one in the front here is obviously a short fin koi. This is one of my favorites. I really enjoy the coloration. This is one of the poorest form of koi. This one in the middle here. But I really like them all. Their long flowing fins that the butterfly koi have are very attractive, and generally speaking, over in Japan, where koi, well, I don't know if they were first grown over there in Japan, but butterfly koi are a recent, rather recent addition to the koi keeping hobby. And before, all the koi never had long flowing fins. They had fins that would be similar to that one that was in the back there. That was, and the butterfly koi were just a recent development. In the last 50 to 60 years, I think, is all the time that they have been developed. It was a very interesting story about how the development of the long-finned koi occurred. There was a ditch over in Southeast Asia that was known to have long-finned, ordinary colored, no, not just common carp in it, but the carp in this ditch had long fins, and someone from the United States heard about this and traveled over to Southeast Asia and brought home, imported some of these common carp with long fins, and they put the long fin koi carp in with their very best colored carp, and allowed them to reproduce in a pond, and some of the offspring, well, carried the gene for long fins, and they kept doing this, breeding back, inbreeding, and they were able to develop long-finned koi in nearly every color pattern that is now seen in the hobby of koi keeping in the United States. There are people like me that love both of the styles of koi, the long-finned and the short-finned, and it's quite a story. And I wanted to do a little video here, update of how the koi are doing. This is February of 2020, and so far the activity level and the quality of life for this overcrowded 50-gallon aquarium that is utilizing a under gravel filter is really doing well. The koi are showing no signs of ill health. They're not growing fast. I am feeding them once or twice a day. They're begging for a little bit of food right here, right now. They show no signs of aggression, and I'm very happy with this experimental aquarium, and I'm enjoying the fish too. I suspect that when summer comes, or spring, I might be tempted to put them outside and allow them to live the rest of their lives out in a large pond where they will not, where they might achieve a much smaller adult size than they would have had they not been, I think, stunted in the growing in this aquarium over this winter. I believe, and I'm going to do an experiment to find out if it's true, I believe that koi will not continue to grow to a size that will kill them in this aquarium or even cause them any sickness. Now that goes against everything I've ever read, where they say that you cannot do this with koi. Ordinarily, no one would say you could even keep one koi in a 50-gallon aquarium. However, the undergravel filter system that utilizes air to move water up 4 stand tubes in the back of this aquarium. You can see the bubbles coming out at the top of each of the 4, allows water to be drawn through the gravel, and a nitrification process that is difficult to imagine actually breaks down all of the ammonia that these large fish produce in the aquarium in a very effective manner, and more effective, I believe, having used undergravel filters for over 50 years in my aquariums. I find them to be extremely effective at allowing me to keep many more fish than are normally possible to keep in an aquarium. This aquarium down here is one that houses my some of my Procosmus, some of my giant Daniels that I raised last year, and I've got quite a colony of little Procosmus coming along. These guys are about 4 or 5 months old now, and I've got a fish in here that is over 20 years old. I think this Syndontis catfish here, and I've got a close-up of his face. I bought him back. I actually traded him for some guppies back in the 1980s, late 1980s. Anyway, he thinks he's hiding pretty good, and he's got a little Procosmus there. He doesn't ever come out and swim around in the daytime, and he just likes to hide where I can see him behind that rock. I've got a piece of tile leaning up against the end of the aquarium. He likes that. Anyway, getting back to the koi, this concludes this update of my 10 koi that are living happily in a 50-gallon aquarium. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions about undergravel filter systems that I highly recommend, they're also not much trouble to maintain, and they're also very inexpensive, and there are basically no parts to ever wear out. You just have to put a couple inches of gravel or sand, not real fine sand, over the top of the filter plate that extends from one side of the aquarium to the other, and it just pulls water through effortlessly and continuously. And all I do is use an underwater gravel vacuum, where you use the syphon action of water coming out of the aquarium and a large plastic tube to clean the debris out of the sand and gravel. The debris that works all the way into and underneath the filter plate, I just leave, and it doesn't seem to cause any problems. Now, I'm not able to get as clear water as some of the filter systems that you have to spend a lot of money on and work on every month, but it does clean the water quite adequately when the gravel is vacuumed once or twice a month when I do my partial water changes on this aquarium. I only do them about once a month, and the fish don't seem to have any bad signs.